Hey, Travis here, Stevens Truck Power. We're going to go ahead and put an injector in an ISX today. We've shown videos of this truck previous. We installed a camshaft in it. In fact, it's right there. So the job initially was to put this number 3 injector in. When we got the valve cover off, we noticed the cam was flaking, and so we talked to the customer and went ahead and put the cam in. So we got a few short videos of that going in. To do that, you end up pulling the radiator out and everything, so we've got that all back in, new cam in. So that's why the rockers are all off right now. Also makes it a lot easier to do an injector when nothing's in the way. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and do that for you today. Injector number 3 is right here, and to get that, we're going to come over here and remove the fuel line right here for number 3. And then there is a pass-through connector that needs to come out. The injector will not come out until that's removed. So if you're doing one of these, don't forget to remove that, because you can damage something prying on that injector. It'll damage this tube, and when I get that out, I'll show you what we're doing here. So we'll go ahead and pull this thing off. Hopefully I can do this without being able to see too much here. So you get the one line off, and then the ones in on the header, they're a little tough to get to, and sometimes you end up removing other lines. Sorry, the visual here is tough. And then it's got a long extension and a deep socket. Go in there and grab that. And that'll come off of there, which looks like that. 1 1/16 is that size, by the way. And usually it'll come right out, but you can get a little hill bar in there and pry on that right there, and then out it comes. Big long pass-through needle, and this end here goes in and sits right in the injector, which was what delivers the fuel to the injector. And so if you tried to pull that out, you'd bend this up, and then you'd cause problems with fuel delivery on that cylinder, cause all kinds of codes. So just be careful when you pull that out, make sure you do it right, and then also don't drop it anywhere, because even a little dent or a ding right there will cause significant problems for you. So we'll set that in a place that's not going to fall. So now we're down to the injector right there. Just got the hold down bolt right here. We'll remove the hold down, and that'll pop up out of there, and we'll go ahead and replace it. And put our wrench on the hold down. Of course, we'll torque all this when we go back together. Right now I'm just tearing it apart. We'll pull that out. And you knock a rocker crossover off. So the bolt's loose, and the hold down, it's not going to come completely off. You kind of got to go in at the same time, so we'll just pull that bolt. Right there. And we'll grab our hill bar again. There's a little lip right here on this injector, right down in here. And you can just pop that up. Alright. Snap that up like that, and the hold down will kind of come with it. Like that. There's actually a little groove, 2 little fork right there. That'll fit down in this groove when you go back together, so you got to make sure and get that correct. But yeah, got the injector out. We'll go ahead and replace that with the new one and get this guy back going. We got to get the injector in, rockers on. We got some rockers we got to replace because of the new cam, and then we'll go ahead and adjust the valves. Okay, so we got the new injector here from Cummins. Old injector there, but the new one, which is in my hand here, we've got it O-ring lubed up. But they come with a new connector tube, so that tube we pulled out will not be reused. We'll put a new tube in it. If you're doing an overhaul or something where you're using injectors, or head gasket or anything like that that you'll be pulling injectors out for, like I said before on that connector tube, you want to be careful not to damage the end of that, because it'll cause problems, and they're tough to find if you don't realize that that's what actually happened. So anyway, back to the job here. Alright. Okay, got my hold down, and you turn this injector. There's 2 little slots right there, which is where those 2 little slots will sit on the hold down. So as you're going in, you just want to make sure of that. I cleaned the hole out, it's nice and clean. Got some lube on the O-ring so the injector goes in good. Make sure it's seated and sitting in there good. Give it a little push, and then we'll just go to tightening the bolt. Get it started good. This injector will go to 59 foot-pounds, if you were wondering, and then the connector tube is 57, I believe, on that nut. So the connector tube just pushes in. You'll just get this injector in and push the tube in, lube up that O-ring as well. And there's a little slot on it, little right here. I don't know if you can see that flat spot. So it only goes in one direction. So as you put it in, you just kind of want to twist like this till it drops in, and then a nice little push with your thumb will snap it into place, and then you can go ahead and tighten that nut down. Alright, so we got our torque wrench going. Like I said, 59 foot-pounds. Just kind of pull that down. Like that. So now the injector's in, we'll get the connector tube in and proceed to get the rockers back on after this cam job that I talked about before that we installed this cam. So I always torque it and then let it sit a minute and come back and retorque it. I did blow the bolt hole out and the injector hole out, but you just never know. Sometimes stuff creeps in there, and any oil, fluid in the hole will mess up the torque. You'll think it's torqued, and then as it creeps up the threads, it's all of a sudden not torqued anymore. So it's nice to check and recheck, make sure you don't have a problem. Okay, we'll get our new connector tube, snap that into place. Of course. So, if you go per instructions of Quick Serve online, you're actually supposed to put this injector down to 177 inch-pounds, snap the tube in, and then torque it the rest of the way down to 59, and then torque the tube. I've done it both ways. don't shoot me for doing it wrong. This is just how I've done it for a long time. Never had a problem. So we're just going to continue to do it that way. But I'll lube up that O-ring, and then you'll see the flat spot right there, so it can only go in one spot, and we'll snap that in. Just take that camera here. So down in the tube there, get it down in the hole. As you can see, it's just sitting there, and then we'll just roll it around until it drops in on that flat spot. Right there. Give it a push. Snaps in, and then we'll go ahead and put this nut back on it, so it doesn't come with a new nut, but we'll reuse that, and that'll go to 57 foot-pounds. And again, we'll torque and retorque. Then put the fuel line back on, and then we're back to putting rockers on and adjusting valves and getting this thing going down the road. But anyway, that's putting an injector in ISX. Thanks for watching.